Hello, everyone, and thank you again for coming back to our Tribe Thursday. I'm so excited that you guys have been watching our videos. So far, we've done about 5 videos, and they've been uploaded on our YouTube channel, and you guys have been viewing them. So thank you so much. We've had over 1,000 people to view our videos, and we're so excited for the progress that we have been doing. As you know, because of COVID, we've been unable to reach our students face to face. Normally, this is a time that we would actually have our teen talk session during the summertime, but unfortunately, we won't be able to do it. So we're going to continue with our Tribe Thursday videos. And this day, I wanted to do something a little bit different. We've been talking about bullying, of course, and we've been talking about how to deal with stress and pressure. But today, we're going to talk about budgeting. Yes, I know that's the key word that a lot of people don't want to mention about budgeting only because we like to spend, spend, spend. But today we're going to talk about how you can actually save some of those coins, not just for today, but for tomorrow, for the future, and for our next generation. So as you know, my name is LaShondra Robinson. I am the executive director of the wonderful organization called You Can of Memphis, where we are helping our teens, middle and high school students, in regards to leadership development as well as character building on bullying. So without further ado, I am going to be so excited to announce our guest interviewee. And her name is, you know her as Exclusive Memphis with an X. I know her as Miss Laquita Jones and Exclusive Memphis too. So let's give a round of applause for Miss Laquita. Woo! All right, so let's go ahead and start off with something real quick for you. Something that's going to be simple and easy that everybody wants to know. Who is Laquita? Who is Exclusive Memphis? Exclusive Clips? Who is all Miss Exclusive?
Okay. But basically, Exclusive Memphis, we are an event and entertainment promotion company that was started here in Memphis 8 years ago. Our primary goal with starting Exclusive Memphis was to bring awareness to things that are happening in and around the Memphis area. In the surrounding areas. We also wanted to highlight individuals that were from the Memphis area that were doing great things. They grew up here, people that look like us. And we kind of wanted to knock out the stigma when a lot of people say that there was nothing to do in Memphis. So that was the 3 reasons that I actually started Exclusive Memphis. When I started, of course, 8 years ago, I had no clue that it would grow into the capacity that it is now. It's been one ride that I've definitely enjoyed. In terms of exclusive clips, that was so much of a hobby that had turned into a passion. So I love coupon. I love saving money. I love all things saving money, credit, anything that falls along those lines. So Exclusive Clips was born shortly after Exclusive Memphis, but they kind of all tied together. I'm just a voice in the community where I want to bring awareness to people in our community that we have great things happening. We have people that are around us that are knowledgeable of things, and just with a little bit of information and a little bit of research, you can reach out to these key people in our Memphis area, and we can actually show some of the things that most people probably won't get a chance to actually view and see.
Wow, you said for 8 years. You've been doing this thing for 8 years. That's a long time to be
Yes.
consistent with it at that.
Yes, and it's one of those things I actually enjoy. So, of course, if you start doing something that you actually enjoy, it never feels like work. As you can see behind me, I have several awards and accolades from several mayors, city and county, as well as the Best in Black on just, being recognized for doing great things here in the Memphis area. We also get involved with nonprofit projects. We also do things where we give back to the community. So there's fun that is tied to Exclusive Memphis, but we also have a purpose behind what we do. So we make sure that we highlight that as well. And I'm just honored to be able to be born and raised here in Memphis, to be able to be highlighted in the city, proclamation from the city mayor, and just basically I appreciate people taking the time to say, hey, we recognize you in our community, we recognize what you do with youth, we recognize what we do with the elderly, and we definitely appreciate you, and we just want to give you a token of appreciation. So that's an honor for me, and that's an honor for my children as well to be able to see their mom highlighted in such a fashion.
Yes, yes, yes. And now I will say that I've been to her class and I've hosted a class. And I'm still learning how to do those clips, how to do those coupons. It's just not in me, but she works with me every single time. And I'm very honored to even call her my friend, to actually still call her and say, hey, I still don't get it. And she gets on me, but that's okay because my daughter knows all about it and she helps me out. Thank God for your child, right?
Process.
It's definitely a process. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump into our questions. As you know, we do a 30-minute segment and we have 5 questions that we ask our interviewee, our guests. And today's question, the first one is going to be, do you think financial literacy is important to teach in school? Why or why not?
Yes, I definitely think that financial literacy is something that children should be taught in school. I think a lot of times the counselors as well as the educators, they put a lot of emphasis on choosing the right school as well as finding funding for those schools. And those things are, definitely important. But a lot of times we miss the mark that those individuals that are going off to school and college, they're leaving from under their foundation or from their nest of the parents that's actually protect them. So if no one is teaching them financial literacy, 98% of the children who go out to college are staying on dorms. If you hadn't taught them how to budget money or how to, create a budget of things that fall along those guidelines, they're going to get out there and they're going to fall on their face. And a lot of times what we find is that a lot of our youth are not being taught because the parents don't know. So the parents can't teach them something that they don't know, number one. And then number two, we can't expect them to be out there budgeting a meal plan, and if they're paying out of pocket, budgeting those meals. College is very expensive, and tuition alone, racks up a lot of funding. But people forget about just day-to-day living expenses because just because you send your child off to school, there's still toiletries and other items that they need, and a lot of those things are not always sent from home. So if they're fortunate to go off to college, they need to be able to know how to manage the money that they do have coming in if they have a job or if they have something that's being sent to them, because we've taught them all about how to get these scholarships and how to get accepted into these schools and how to pick their major and other sororities and fraternities, but no one is teaching them about budget and finances. And we all know that money rules the world. So we're not telling them this. We're leaving out a key factor of them going into adulthood.
I definitely agree with you on that. I know when I was in middle school, we had home ec. And home ec was so interesting because we got the opportunity to make different things. For me, it was making a bag, making an apron. But then also we had junior achievement too. And junior achievement is still here. But a lot of people don't even realize that it's available. Those particular resources are available to teach your child about financial literacy. Because I have 3, and my boys, for example, my oldest son, who just now is just like living life, but he didn't realize what it meant to have a budget. He just thought, okay, I'm just gonna spend my money when I get my paycheck, until it was time for me to say, well, where's your insurance money? Oh, well, I thought you had it. No, brother, no, you got to take care of that. So teaching them about financial literacy is very important, and I hope that we are able to get it back into the school system, especially during this upcoming school year, considering that now it's going to be online classes. So I think that would be something interesting that the schools should really talk about, which goes back into our second question. What does it mean to budget, and how can you teach teenagers about the value of money, managing a budget, and balancing the wants and the needs? Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so when you go back to what is a budget is basically you having control, self control of funds that you have coming in as well as what you have going out. A lot of people, they enjoy spending, but do you have a real control on what you have coming in versus what are you spending out? If you're overspending, you'll find yourself, of course, in negatives, overdraft, and different things that'll impact you in other ways. But just setting a budget is, baby, actually be able to write that blueprint. It goes back to you picking your college and picking things that you decide. Just like you determine where you're going to go in school and then how that benefits you, you need to be able to control your money. You need to be able to tell your money where to go and how that money actually benefits you. Because if you don't set a budget, what ends up happening is that you'll find yourself with your finances just spiraling out of control. Now, the second part of that question, because you kind of gave me a lot real fast. So what was the second part again?
Second part was managing a budget and then balancing your wants and your needs.
Okay, balancing a budget again. That's controlling what you have coming in and what you have going out. I think the number one key factor in that is that trial and error with these teens as well as young adults. They have to be trial and error. I think that someone has to start them at an early age. and teaching them on what money means, how you earn money, and how you actually can get put in bad situations. So I think we as parents, we have to kind of give our children a rope to control their own money, but we also be able to have to be there to give them constructive criticism when they do the wrong thing, they overspend, they underspend. Unfortunately, I don't think teens or young adults understand needs and wants. I just think that they think that's an adult word. But when it comes to needs and wants, a need is something that is a necessity, something that I just can't live without. And a want is something that maybe can work, wait, and don't have to get right now. I'm a firm believer when it comes to my household, when it comes to want, my children actually have to earn their wants. They're not given to them. So as a result, when they get their own money or their own funds, they're not as quick to go out and spend it because, again, they've already been through the waiting process. And I think that goes into goal planning. You're planning for everything else, but have you planned goals on what your needs and what your wants are? Even at this age in life, I'm still, have a list running of what my needs and what my wants are. A lot of times, if I reach a certain financial point in life or certain goals, I will reward myself with something that's on my want list. I'm not limiting myself on my wants because I can't afford them, but I also have to have self-control that we have to all be prepared for rainy days and things that'll happen. The coronavirus hit, a lot of people was laid off. No people had, rainy day funds saved away. No people had a budget together. And, I was in a situation where I've always believed in those rainy day funds. So I was not as impacted as bad as some other people may have been. But I think if we start to think with that mindset, just living below our means. I think that's very important for adults and children to remember that, there is always a tomorrow. There's always a next day. If you are spending more that you're bringing in and, you only get paid bi-weekly, you have to, keep in mind that you need gas to get to 2 more weeks. You need food for 2 more weeks. Do you have enough soap for 2 more weeks? Do you have enough deodorant? You have to be very frugal in the way that you spend your money as well as what you spend your money on. And you just have to, get to the point where you start making smart decisions.
I like what you said in regards to having that rainy day fund, because we, even as adults, we sometimes we spend thinking, okay, we know we're going to get our next paycheck next week or in 2 weeks, so we'll be okay, or we think we got some extra money that may be coming in, and then all of a sudden it doesn't come in. I believe that this virus has really taught us a lot of lessons about money management. And with that being said, with the rules, because I know, again, I follow you, of course, and I noticed that you do like the jars or the envelopes. You do the envelopes. So tell us a little bit about the envelopes.
Okay, now with the envelopes, what you're referring to in terms of the coupon, I have two budgets. One of the budget is for my food items, and one is for my non-food items. So basically, every pay period, I have a set amount that I set aside for my household on what we typically eat out in 2 weeks, in terms of food, and as well as what it takes for non-food items in my household, and I spend from that envelope. And if it gets to the end of the month and there's money left in either of those envelopes, I treat myself because I still within my budget. This money is not allocated to anything else. Let me do something nice for me. Now, at the end of the month, if that envelope system is empty or there's nothing in that envelope system, I know that I'm not properly budgeting enough for my household, and then I'll go back and I'll redetermine what it actually takes for my family to be able to survive. Now, that's a good method for teens to use when it comes to their needs versus their want. I would recommend them starting just like, basic plain envelope, writing on the outside what your needs and what your wants are. You can also use the back of that envelope to, just sketch out some of your wants and some of your needs as well. So as you do that, you can go through and cross them off your list. And what that does is make you feel like you're accomplishing something, because you may start with 15 wants, but as you're rewarding yourself or as you're earning those things, you're scratching them off the list. So for me, I like with a to-do list, I like to check things off because it makes me feel like I'm productive. So if you're scratching things off your list of your needs and your wants, it's letting you know that you, number one, you have control. Number two, you're sticking with it. So I always recommend, maybe sticking some in that envelope. If you earn $50 in allowance, maybe put 25 into your needs envelopes and then 25 into your wants. And if you do that accordingly, it'll help you with your money, and you're able to see at the end of the day what you actually spent your money on, as opposed to the 4 for 4s and the Dave and Buster's and things like that, which quickly accumulate in dollars.
Definitely that 4 for 4, because we went to McDonald's earlier today, and I told my daughter, "Oh, they got the 4 for 4. Should we get it?" What did I end up getting? The 10-piece nugget instead.
Yeah.
So you do have to be mindful of what you spend, how much you spend, and where you're spending it at. And I know with some of the banks, they actually have like a pie chart that tells you how much money that you have spent in certain areas. And I know for adults, that's pretty good for them too. Uh-oh, there we go. You was in a standstill. Yeah, froze. So let's go into the third question, which talks a little bit about that pie chart too. Tell us more about your books on budgeting tips for teens and parents, and why were you inspired to write them?
Okay. Again, being a mother, I actually had a daughter that went off to college, and I equipped her with all the things that I assumed that she needed going down there. In my mind, she was set up. But what I soon determined, the phone rung almost daily when there was another need that we had either forgot about or I hadn't addressed. And before you knew it, it just was a lot. And I thought to myself, what about other parents that are out there that may need this information? And I'm one of those people that I would like to share that information and just pass it along. So that inspired me to write one of my books, which is, focused on college students and monies that are available, funding, just tips and tricks that college students can actually use to not spend so much money, how they can stay out of their parents' pockets. A lot of times our teens and our children don't realize all the resources that we have at the tip of our fingers, and they don't utilize that. So with me putting all these things in a guide, as I would call it, they're able to go right to a section that speaks on the item or the situation that they're dealing with, and they're able to look up information along those, what's free, what's available, and what tips that I can take to maybe get these items free or at low cost. So that inspired me to do that one. The other ones with the couponing, as you mentioned when we started, you taking my classes, and when you leave my classes, you're always, as they say, yearning for more. And what I found was a lot of people was reaching out via social media or on my personal phone, and they just had more questions. I thought the guide would be a great tool for people to have tangible, so that they can refer back to in their own time and they can learn it at their own pace. Because again, couponing is a process. So if I provide you with a manual or a guide that walks you through that process, that makes it easier for you to understand. And then it also, for me, it gives me comfort that I'm not just leaving people out there alone once they attend my workshops. In terms of my grocery guide that I created, a lot of times I speak to a lot of parents in poverty zip codes and single parent households. And what I find is that, when they go to the grocery store, they just put everything in a basket. Well, I wanted people to get away from that mindset, because there's a method with the way that the grocery stores are set up. So I took the time to go through different grocery stores, looking at their setup, researching why it's set up this way, why is the milk over here, shelf life on items and different things. And I combined all those together to kind of help parents understand how to get more bang for their buck, and also how to understand why the grocery stores are set up like this, and what's the difference between Kroger cheese and Aldi cheese, what's the difference between a Kroger apple and a Superlo apple. I wanted to do the research. I mean, are there extra ingredients that are being used at the lab? Why is this bread better than this bread? So I took the time to study these stores. I talked to managers in different sections, and I just took all that knowledge, and again, I put it together in a guide, because of course I would be emailing all day or posting on social media all day, all those tips. So now you have all of them right together, and they're in one guide. And as a mom or a father, you can go through there and you can get tips on expanding your dollars in the grocery store, combining that with your coupon knowledge. So now you're saving money and you're getting the most bang for your buck.
I didn't know you did all of that as far as the research. That is a lot. So you never mentioned the name of your books. Tell us the name of your books.
Okay, I have 3 that are available on Amazon as well as private purchase, but I also have 3 that are like right on my desk. So I'm in the middle of some ones, but the ones that you can get right now is 101 college saving tips for, I have to pull it up, but 101 tips for college students. I also have 101 tips for beginners, coupons that are beginners, and then I have 135 grocery hack tips that are available for individuals with the grocery store. There's a part 2 to the coupon manual that's getting ready to come out. Also, because I deal with financial literacy, there's a credit guide that's getting ready to come out. And then I also, on the business line, I'm talking about branding and passion, turning your passion to profits. So that's another guide that's going to come out. But it all ties around financial literacy. Everything I write, again, is to put the information that I know that's all boggled in my head out there to the public and to the masses. and to help individuals in whatever department that fits you most to be able to break it down in simple terms and be able to make it where anyone who's actually in possession of those guides will understand what they're all about.
Ooh, so you heard it first, exclusively for me.
Right.
And you can go and find her books on Amazon.com, and they look under Laquita Jones.
Yeah, you just type in my name, Laquita Jones, and all three of them will come up.
And I would definitely suggest that you get those books for your teens. We actually bought some books for our teens one school year for Northside, for Manassas, and the teens loved it. And they were like, I didn't get mine, I didn't get mine. So we definitely had to make sure that we had all the books for them, because it helped them as they were graduating from high school into college. And even those who were in 11th grade, they were wanting to learn more about how to budget. That's something that's part of our program, that we make sure that the teens are aware of about budgeting, whether you're about to go off for college or whether you're at home, something that you can help you with your parents or your siblings or even just yourself. So be sure to check out her book on Amazon.com. Look under her name, Laquita Jones, and all this information will be also included under our video. So get it, get your resources, get your knowledge. Now let's travel on to our fourth question. When did you learn how to budget, and what age do you think parents should start teaching their child how to budget? I know you kind of talked about a little bit with your kids and them going off to college, but when did you, Laquita, learn how to budget?
Um, as a mom, I think one of those things that we, automatically by fault do is we just want to make it from check to check. And I've always had that mindset from check to check. I went through some personal issues in life, maybe about 6 years ago. And 6 years ago, I had set these goals. I wanted to buy a house. I wanted a new vehicle. And when I started talking to people at different financial institutions, I wasn't ready. But I'm one of those people, you can tell me that I'm not ready, but tell me why I'm not ready. So once I started finding out why I'm not ready, I started doing my research. And that led me to not only setting those goals for long term, but it also led me to go to budgeting. And what I found out is when I cut back on a lot of my things that I did day to day, I was actually able to obtain those goals, and that made me feel proud. So I basically just stuck with that system. In terms of parents and kids, I think kids at the earliest age is 14 should be able to learn about budgeting, because what we have is that most of our kids are entering the workforce around the age of 16. So if you're starting with your teens or preteens around the age of 14, that gives you 2 years of a window to be able to teach them about budgeting and money and different things that fall along those guidelines. So your teen has 2 years of actually money. So when they go into the workforce at the age of 16, they're now ready to work. And then from that point, it kind of carries over with them until their pre-adulthood, as well as when they go off to college, because you're teaching them the meaning of a dollar, how to manage that money, and what it actually means to, create that budget.
Yes, I definitely agree, because at the age of 16, a lot of stores are able to hire them, and they get that first paycheck and they're ready to buy the most expensive shoes. They're ready to go clothes shopping. They're ready to get their hair done, nails done, and so forth. But then you turn around, you spend all that money, and now you're asking your parents or, someone who's taking care of you to give you some money for allowance, or
Right.
can you buy me something to eat? Well, you just got paid. What happened to all your money? And that's a great life lesson for especially teens at that age to start learning more about it. And even at, like you said, at age 14, when they get allowance, I used to give my kids allowance, and that allowance was, back then was very inexpensive, maybe $20 or something. They thought they had $100 bill, but they was ready to go to the store, to the candy lady, and buy all the junk food possible. And then they turn around and say, well, mama, can I go out into the movies? Can I get $10? No, I just gave you 20. What happened to that? So parents, you better start teaching them as early as 14. I would say even as early as 8. As long as you can get them some money for allowance, that's the time to start teaching them how to manage their money.
Right.
Well, will you give us, to wrap all of this up, because this has been a wonderful interview. I love learning more about money, especially during this time frame. We're having to really watch how we spend our money, because things can change, as we know, in a blink of an eye. And we want to be able to have as much as possible to be able to survive for the next couple of weeks as you started off, and moving forward, so we can know either to get another job or find another hustle, or whatever it is that we got to do in order for us to survive, especially with our family. So can you leave us with 5 great tips to help teens budget their money, and then 5 tips for our parents to help budget their money?
Okay. Well, in regards to the teams, and I'll try to keep it short, but most of our institutions here, financial institutions, they offer free checking accounts, and I don't think there's a starting age. If I do, it may be around 12. But I recommend, you teens to pull your parents to the side and say, "Hey, mom, I think I want to get serious about this, budgeting thing. I'm going to be going off college. I'm a young adult. Give me an opportunity. These accounts are completely free. You walk into any branch of your choice and you just basically say, I want to open a student account, make sure your parent has the correct documentations, and they'll be happy to open those accounts. There's no charge every month and there's no minimum. So that'll be step number 1. Get you a secure place where you can actually have your money. You'll be in possession of a debit card and you'll be able to deposit money that you have going in as well to access your money when you're ready to access it. The second tip that I would give to my teens is that I know, like, for my age, it was big with hanging at the mall and, hanging out with my friends and doing different things. One of the things I actually mentioned in my guide is that when you go to the mall, you don't have to stop by the food court. If you know that you're hanging out with your buddies this evening, or you guys are going skating, or whatever you're going to do, eat at home before you go. Just eat at home. Maybe you can pack a light snack. But when you get to the bowling alley and everybody's paying $10 to $15 for a combo, you've already eaten. So they're spending $10 to $15 on a combo. Just imagine if you do that on a Friday and Saturday, which is 2 days out of the weekend, and you did that for the entire month. Just think about, you're saving $30 every time you go out, and you take that into a month, you saved $120. I mean, it's not that you're eating low quality food. You're just maybe eating meals that are prepared at home by your parent, as opposed to eating the junk that are in the alley. So go ahead and let your buddies enjoy that. I mean, you still can go shopping at the mall. And so instead of spending $15 at the food court, maybe there's $15 that you can spend in another element. Also, I want you to hone into what do you enjoy doing? What are you passionate about? And take the time to just research how you can actually turn things that you're passionate about or things that you consider a hustle to make side money. Young ladies, if you like to braid, maybe you can start charging people for, braiding their hair, just, something small. If you like to do nails, you can charge people to start doing nails. You can take that money and set that to a side and let your parents take care of your primary needs. And then what happens is when you want something, you can say, hey, mom, can you take me to the mall? And the favorite words that I love to hear is, I got my own money. That's like, what? So if you can, jump in and you got your own money, you can go out there and you can spend that without having to, keep your parents bogged down. The fourth thing that I would recommend for kids is, being able to establish what your needs and your wants are. What are your long-term goals? You can, not worry about your needs, because at this point, maybe your parents are addressing it, but I want you to think just long-term. What are your wants? Write those down and just begin to come up with a timeline that you can actually knock those wants out without having to worry about, your parents saying that, you're taking so much from the household. It's because, going to college is expensive, going to prom is expensive, graduation is expensive. And also, when you get money that's actually coming in, don't spend everything that you earn, whether you're getting from a hobby or that you're getting it from some type of work that you're doing. I always recommend to save half of what you bring in. So if you're working somewhere at a fast food place or maybe a clothing store, half of everything that you got coming in should go into your savings account. So with that savings account or with your envelope system, I recommend you take half and put into your savings or your envelope system, and then you take the other half and then divide it into half again, and then you address your needs and your want. And that first 50% will be what you consider your rainy day fund. The last tip that I would give to teens is that I know we're in a society where we all want to look nice. Everybody want to drip. Everybody wants to have the sauce. But I want a lot of teens to look up consignment shops as well as pre-owned or likely used. You'll be surprised at the name brands that you can find that are not in bad condition, that you can get at a fraction of the cost that you would pay wholesale. And just be mindful that, you can expect these items, and you'll be, very, like I said, surprised on the items that you can get that you really, brands that you actually enjoy, name brands, for a whole lot cheaper than what you actually would have paid for them, just new. And also look into how you can take some of those things in your closet and maybe sell them to a consignment shop or either, this Jordan has went out of style, well, somebody will wear that Jordan. So just look into pre-owned stores that'll actually take those items and they'll give you a few dollars for them. And then you can take that money and turn around and maybe buy something that you want. So, with everyone being home this summer and everyone has all this downtime, clean out your closet, get on Google and, Google these types of shops that are in your area and call and ask them what are their rules and restrictions. And hey, I have no shame. I bag up things regularly that my kids don't want no more, and I go get some of my money back. Now, with parents, I would start off with, the same tip. These kids are home, clean out your closet, clean out their closet, and get to some of these consignment shops and these secondhand shops and, go in there and get some monies back off these things that we've actually spent on. Number two is being able to watch for sales at different stores. I mean, I know that, these kids are eating a lot. And as a parent, you just run to the store and, we're all in such a rush. And a lot of times we just pick up the first thing that we see. I, suggest parents to grab ads or maybe go to the favorite store's website, look up things that you buy regularly for your household and find out where you can get the most bang for your buck. You may be able to go to get something at Walgreens that you usually get at Target or get something at Walmart that you usually would get at Best Buy. So just be mindful on where you're spending your money and make sure that you're doing your homework and your research so that you can make sure that you're getting the most bang for your money. Also with parents, I know for various reasons, I know a lot of parents that I work with, they have like prepaid cards where they load money onto them and they take money off and different things like that. Take time to look at those types of things. Most of them have a service fee or a convenience fee every time you use the card or every time that you withdraw money. Again, I recommend you try to get to an institution and get a free checking account because you think about it, if someone's charging you 75 cents per every transaction, or a non-ATM fee of $2.50, those costs can, quickly add up, and you'll be surprised on how much you spend on miscellaneous fees. Another thing for parents, I want you guys to survey what you are spending on subscriptions and annual fees on different things. I mean, we have all these different accounts. I know my daughter has like an Apple iTunes account. You have Netflix this, you have cable this and this magazine. Most of this stuff is free and it's online. Figure out what subscriptions that you can actually cut out, what services you can eliminate. Call your insurance companies. Are y'all doing any breaks during this time? Call your cable company. What channels are you not watching? How can I eliminate those channels? Just start getting away all these things that quickly add up and that are frivolous in cost. And then the other thing for me, when I was going into the office, and even now, I have a rule in my house where we really only eat out fast food once a week. So that day is generally on Saturday. So if for some reason my kids want something different on a Thursday or Friday, it's understood that if we do this on a Thursday and Friday, there's no fast food on Saturday. And a lot of times when we do fast food, I always go to that restaurant's website, Captain D's, Wendy's. I'm always looking for digital deals on their app, or I'm looking for ways that I can get a deal on their website before I go dine in. Old Charlie's, Applebee's, Outback, most all these places offer coupons on your websites. So please do your homework before you're going out to dine. You'll be surprised on the type of rewards that you can get back. And when we all get back into the work environment, when I go to work, I pack a lunch 4 days a week, and on Fridays I treat myself. So parents, start packing lunches, maybe saving some leftovers. When I do go out with my coworkers, if it's not one of the days that I'm supposed to be eating out, I buy from the dollar menu just so that I can engage with them. But you don't have to order the entire combo. But if you're being restricted and you ate lunch in your office 4 days a week on Fridays, there's so many options that I, line up that I want to go eat out. And I treat myself on Fridays, but I don't mind packing a lunch on other days. So that, again, I can reach those financial goals of being a homeowner, getting a new vehicle, being able to travel when my kids want to travel, or, just being able to catch a sale when things happen. Because we all know, as well as kids and adults, one of the worst feelings ever is being able to want something so bad and we cannot afford it. But if we start taking control of the things that are actually controlling us and we tell our money to go, you'll be surprised on how easy you sleep at night, how much more smoother your household run. Because at the end of the day, a household is a business. You have to run your household how you run your business. You have to tell your money where to come in, where to go out, how much to go here, and how much to go there. So just be mindful of those tips. And it's a process, day by day. Start small, but I assure you, if you take any of those tips and you apply them, you will be surprised on, the goals and, the steps that you can reach, just, reaching your goals.
Man, that was a mouthful. Of parents, students, young adults, I hope you guys have really learned a lot from this, especially those tips. Those tips are some of the things that I even use for myself. And I must say, I've reached a lot of my goals using those tips in order for us to travel, in order us to get new vehicles, and even looking for a new home. So make sure that you write down these tips at the end. Make sure you utilize these tips and give it out to someone else. Share these tips. Don't be greedy. Share these tips out to other people, because when you share, then they share, and next thing you know, everybody is learning. We're all saving money. We're all leveling up to something that we really want to have, that is going to be prosperous for us as well as for our family. So Laquita, can you tell them, how can they get in contact with you if they want to know more information from you?
Okay, well, of course, all my social media handles are going to be Exclusive Memphis, as well as exclusive clips. And LaShondra, if you'll drop those down below or on the screen, there is no E in exclusive. I'm available to book one-on-one training, budget, credit. I'm able to come out to do a group of 10 or more. I have guides that can be purchased directly from me that can be autographed. And I'm just always available. I have a hands-on community on social media when it comes to couponing. They're in there directing people on what the sales are, how to get the deals, just any way that I can help. You can DM me or send me an email at exclusivememphis@gmail.com. Tell me you heard my seminar or my webinar and you had more questions, or you needed more information, or you need clarification. I'm always, ready to help. Also, I'm teaching parents now on how to, number one, get their credit report for free, how to understand their credit report, and how to read your credit report, because we just look at it as a bunch of papers and a bunch of numbers, and we don't know how that all ties together. So please reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. Just let me know that you came from the UCAN family, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. I come out to churches and different organizations. This is something that I love doing, so whenever I can get it on my calendar, I'm excited to do so.
And she does love doing this. We've had her at different schools, and the students love her. The parents loved her at the hosting that we did, and it was wonderful. So get her out to your event. Make sure you reach out to her if you have any questions. She's very personable with you, and she will be able to help you. So I hope that you have truly enjoyed this segment today on this Tribe Thursday. I'm so excited to have had Miss Laquita Jones, Miss Exclusive Memphis, online with us today, and I hope that you learned a lot. Don't forget to like this page, share the page, and tell someone else to donate to the page. All right, so my name is LaShondra Robinson. I am the executive director of the wonderful organization called UCAN of Memphis. Until next Thursday on Tribe Thursday, I will see you then. Bye. Have a great day.